Many unfortunate events are taking place in the world right now. It's just kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's really sad, and our hearts go out to the families who are going through these really tough times.
We're getting calls from people who want to move here to get away from the crime and the violence and just live somewhere safe where they don't have to worry about as much.
Some of these cities across the country, even the one we ourselves once called home, we're seeing carjackings and robberies, senseless violence, and murder every single day.
And the vandalism. Chicago used to be the most beautiful city, and now a day doesn't go by where I don't hear about these mass shootings. I can't believe what's happening there, or even parts of Mobile just across the bay from us. It's the Wild West everywhere. The police can't even control these thugs who are endangering the lives of so many innocent people.
I don't know, you couldn't pay me to move back to Chicago or even Illinois for that matter. All that crime has infiltrated neighborhoods that were once considered some of the safest. It's seriously unreal. I have friends whose homes are being invaded, cars are being stolen right out of their garages, and people are being robbed at gunpoint while they leave for work in the morning. It's just absolutely awful, and I'm so glad that we got away from it.
Moving to Lower Alabama was the best decision we made, and if you're watching this video, it's probably because you're exploring your options too, and you've come to the right place. Our videos give you a glimpse into what life is like in Lower Alabama,
AKA the safest place to live in the entire country.
I'm Tony, and this is my wife Jess, and today we're gonna tell y'all why we chose to move here, and that's because we believe Lower Alabama is the safest place to live. We're gonna be honest and give you the good, the bad, and the ugly.
And these are opinions based on our real life experiences. Before we moved here in 2016, we lived in areas of Chicago where we had people shooting at each other in our alleyways. I remember laying in bed at night worrying about stray bullets coming through my house, and that's not a good feeling.
Jess isn't exaggerating either. We had family and friends over for barbecues and what they thought were fireworks going off, and they were actually gunshots.
Those aren't firecrackers.
I mean, who the hell wants to live like that? Not me, and I doubt you do too. The great thing about life is you have options. You're not a tree. Pick up and move. Move somewhere safer like we did.
Yeah, we used to really only see this sort of crime in metro cities, but the sad reality is that it's happening all over now, even in neighborhoods outside of the city limits, in areas that you never thought it would happen.
But the good news is, here in Lower Alabama, especially where we live, it feels much safer, and that's a big reason why we love it so much. The crime rate is low, and in addition to that, our homeless population is also very low.
Yeah, in Baldwin County, we very rarely see homeless people.
And we're not trying to sound insensitive. This isn't to say that homeless people pose a threat to the community's safety, and their security, but it isn't a secret that various kinds of crimes start in the streets. So the more people we have living on the streets, the more likely the crime rates increase.
Our parks are very clean. The grocery stores don't have anyone coming up to you or your kids asking you for money. We're more than comfortable letting our children ride their bikes to places like that. In Baldwin County, Alabama, we don't see crime like what we see in other cities like out west or up in the Midwest.
Or the Northeast, for that matter.
Yeah, shoot, even across the border in Pensacola, it's rough in some spots.
Yeah, and like I mentioned before, Mobile has some activity that you can catch on TV shows like The First 48. We're by no means saying things don't happen and that it's perfect here, but it's nothing like what we're seeing in these other places. I know a lot of people wonder, well, what makes it safe then? And in my opinion, it's the people who live here. Areas in Lower Alabama like the Eastern Shore have long attracted conservatives for the area's traditional and religious values.
We like our real life Mayberry cities down here in the South, and we enjoy living like the Cleavers. We take pride in our small towns and our well manicured homes. We go to church on Sundays and we watch Saturday night football with the neighbors. It might sound boring or cheesy to you, but we love it down here.
I love that it's a wholesome environment to live in. Kids play football and they cheerlead. They ride their bikes to ice cream shops and have curfews. They're taught to hold the door, for the person behind them and never talk back to their teachers.
Calling his African-American teacher a racial slur.
Bro, say it too, bro. We're right here, bro. Everybody's watching. What's up?
Hurling a basketball at the teacher. According to students, the confrontation sparked by an alleged dress code violation.
You ain't telling me.
After asking the student to leave the class, the teacher, Marston Riley, eventually snaps.
I'm telling you, right?
And again, we're not saying that that never happens, but when it does, it's a big deal. It's definitely not the norm. And I just love the fact that we share meals with our neighbors and surprise them with holiday treats or ice cream from the local ice cream shop. It's just a Southern way. We rally together when someone is going through something, you know?
Yeah, it definitely is different down here. God is a big part of our communities, and I attribute a good bit of the area's safety to the fact that religion is around. Religion is present all over the country, but here in the South, people just tend to attach religion as part of their identity. I can firsthand tell y'all that in our communities, being a part of a church is a source of comfort and guidance. It 100% provides a basis for moral beliefs and behaviors in adults as well as our children, and also just an overall sense of community for our entire family.
The majority of people you come across living here understand that religion is everywhere you go, and it's just widely accepted. If you try to tell our teachers or the coaches that religion isn't allowed in our classrooms or on our ball fields, you'll be put in your place without hesitation. I guarantee it. The U.S. Constitution protects religious expression for everyone, and that's something people do not forget around here.
We're also very pro-gun state, and a lot of us don't believe in the removal of guns. How in any way will restricting a good law-abiding person from guns protect them? In a lot of these situations, there's no time to wait for the police to arrive. You see it on TV every single day, unfortunately. And at the end of the day, criminals will always get their hands on guns.
Can we all agree that criminals do not obey the law? That's why they're criminals. Guns are not the problem. The person behind the gun is the problem. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, at least not here in Alabama. And look at what's happening all around the country. Laws that violate the rights of law-abiding citizens. I mean, they literally turn them into victims of these criminals. Removing guns isn't the answer, and I'm glad our state supports that. I'm trained a little more than your average American throughout the US, but here in Alabama, I wouldn't be surprised if my neighbor had more training than I have because they grew up with handling a firearm. I think about this stuff and I don't know, it just makes me wonder, you know, like, where was the government when these 22 people were killed in the Maine shootings?
Probably ushering people in at the border.
Long story short, if you want to be able to protect yourself and your family, you'll find yourself surrounded by others who share that same similar mindset.
Which in turn may give you a feeling of security. Guns aren't for everyone, but we like them, and so do a lot of other folks living down here. I personally like knowing that we conceal carry and we have a small armory so we can protect our family, or that someone close by is carrying too, just in case something were to happen.
Yeah, don't try that in a small town is definitely relevant here. A good chunk of Lower Alabama will give you, the small town feels. Despite this rapid growth we're experiencing, the cities still give off that quaint feel. I mean, down here you can find those small towns with a barber or a couple gas stations and a grocery store where everyone knows everyone.
And a small town feel doesn't mean it's boring and doesn't mean the kids have nothing to do but get into trouble. Of course, there's some bad apples out there, but for the most part, the kids are good. Being raised in this Southern culture has a positive impact on our youth, and today we need more of that, more than ever. The kids are out being kids. They're fishing and riding bikes and going to Bible study and going to their youth groups.
Yeah, Baldwin County is comprised of 14 cities, and the current total population stands around 245,000. I mean, the largest population in the county is going to be Daphne or Foley, which have right around 30,000 residents. Our towns are not overpopulated despite what you might hear, especially if you're coming from a large city like we did.
The majority of our clients who we help move here are all coming from big blue cities, and they find themselves falling in love with Baldwin County because they're a product of their environment. And here it's red with Southern hospitality, it's a religious atmosphere, and then we have beautiful beaches.
The taxes are low, we have affordable homes and a lower cost of living, we're pro-gun, and most importantly, the immense feeling of living somewhere safe. This is something I never felt anywhere else. I mean, while still being on the beach, while still having that small town feel, but able to have everything at your fingertips, there's no better feeling for me as a dad knowing my family is safe and Jessica can go out shopping with no worries.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Or Tony not having an issue while golfing. I know what you did there. So he always has to sneak that in, so I do too.
But seriously, my kids can ride around the neighborhood. The schools are secure. The community is all on the same page when it comes to respecting one another and just taking care of, the place we call home. And that's what makes Lower Alabama the best and safest place to live.
If you're ready to move here and upgrade your life and feel safe too, make sure you call us today, the #1 relocation team right here in all of Lower Alabama. And to learn more about our beautiful area, check out this next video.